Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, there's an interesting bit of news. Text messages from Scott Perry appear to have been mistakenly made public in a court case. And a few hours later, they were taken down so that people don't have access to them. But a lot of news agencies in that 3-hour time frame, managed to read through all those text messages and are reporting on it. Apparently, Scott Perry was messaging members of the Pennsylvania state reps, including Mike Jones, Don Kiefer, Seth Grove, and state senators Chris Dush, Kristen Phillips Hill, and Doug Mastriano, who I believe was running for governor over there just recently. And they were each among 64 Republican lawmakers who signed a letter to the governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, to challenge the election and don't let and then they were trying to get folks in the House to not accept Governor Wolf's electors for Pennsylvania. He also contacted who was it that Trump was trying to put in as the AG, and was telling him that he's the man here. Let's see. Oh, Jeffrey Clark. When Jeffrey Clark was trying to be the Attorney General, Clark texted him and said, quote, "POTUS seems very, very happy." And Clark responded, "I'm praying. This makes me quite nervous, and I wonder if I'm worthy or ready." Perry replied, "You're the man. I have confirmed it. God does what he does for a reason." Ain't that the truth? So, Mr. Perry, you are in trouble. At least I think you are. So, entertainment purposes only. What's the energy around Scott Perry with the accidental, God has his ways, releasing of these text messages with regards to the election interference case? The Lovers. All right. Well, what we're finding out here is we got a peek into a peek into what was going on behind the scenes and who was involved basically in this coup plot. And Scott Perry it's like he's acting like a go-between, almost like a yuntle between various coup members. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it in those text messages. He was acting as like a communicator to bring people together for this plot. Cross with the Eight of Cups. Now, he was subpoenaed by the January 6th committee, and he decided that he wasn't going to honor that subpoena. And he's been fighting Jack Smith to get his phone, and Jack Smith eventually got his phone, and now the court case that Judge Beryl Howell is looking over, which where these things got leaked from, was a lower court case. They were trying to decide how many of those texts, I guess, Jack Smith and crew are going to get here. This is not good for Scott Perry, because this got leaked, and so now he has an idea. Well, he knew what the government had in that, but now a bunch of people are going to know about this. And this may not be Scott Perry going away. This might be people now distancing themselves from Scott Perry because now he's toxic. They know what his role is, and now he's toxic. Page of Wands, and this is that kind of that young. Yeah, time to take a trip to Egypt. Gotta go. Bye. If Scott Perry wanted to turn state's evidence, now's your time and your opportunity, because the public knows a bit now, if they're paying attention, to what shenanigans you were up to. We got to see behind the veil. In the past, we got the Five of Swords. Again, ignoring subpoenas, doing whatever Trump tells you to. He was part of the winner-takes-all coup. He was absolutely a part of it. And, arrogant and smug in thinking that he's going to get away with it and doesn't have to comply with the law. You can imagine how much he wants Trump to be elected in 2024. You can only imagine how much he wants Trump to be elected in 2024. Current situation is the Strength card. Well, the cat's out of the bag. cat doesn't have your tongue anymore. The tongue got stuck out. And they got it back in, but cat's out of the bag. People know what you were doing. People know what your role is in this. You can't undo that. All these major arcana, current situation, or the overarching energy is the Chariot. This case is going to grind forward, but we've been given a glimpse as to what the case is looking at through those text messages and what Perry's role and involvement in with this is. He's not an innocent bystander in this, not by a long shot. And now you also know the names of several Pennsylvania representatives and state senators who were being enticed into this plot as well. So it's going to start, the bus is going to start running over them too. And they're going to have to start answering questions if they haven't already. But now you can imagine the press is going to be outside of Scott Perry's office or Magistrano's office asking them questions about these leaked text messages that they're going to have to go around and say, oh, deny, I have nothing to do with that. No, not me. I'm a patriot. Ugh. Lesson to be learned. Illusions and delusions. Not taking the good with the bad. Only looking at the good and not embracing the consequences of your actions. These text messages link these people to Scott Perry, who links it up to Team Crazy, the crazy lawyers on Trump's side. It links them to the coup plot, And again, for those 8 representatives that I named off, they're now linked, whether they like it or not. They're now linked to this, and they deserve to be linked to it. Because how many of them came out and said, "Oh yeah, he contacted me, and I've been working with the FBI and the DOJ to clear my name and all of this." If these folks are complicit with it, they've been wrapped up in it too. And these 8. Was it 8 people that I named off? The people that are associated with, they're going to walk away. They're going to move away from Perry. They better start talking. They better start lawyering up and talking with the DOJ. Yeah, truth is revealed. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You cannot put the genie back in the bottle. It's out there. It's out there for everybody to see. The veil has been lifted. We've seen what Scott Perry was doing, and we saw who he was doing it with. Not good times in the Perry household, but it's also not good time in any of those other people's households too. Because now they have been the net's now over them. Let the media blitz begin. You wanted to support a coup for Team Trump. Here comes the downside. Here come the consequences. Sing the consequence song. All you TikTokers out there, you know the consequence song. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequence. Consequences for my actions following me right now. Busted up the meter on that last one. All right. How's Scott Perry feeling at this very moment? I'm only laughing because you can imagine it's the giant brick in his underwear right now. He feels like Donald Trump for just a second there. How's he feeling right now? Oh, he's got a lot of work to do. Working on his defense, probably. Working on it. Ooh, that's my flipper card. Is he going to turn states out? No, he's been so defiant. Maybe he's looking for the good deal here or something along those lines. But I think he and his lawyers might be working with the DOJ on an agreement. Yeah, this stuff got out, and now the media storm is probably going to start brewing up unless Trump does something outrageous to try and deflect from Scott Perry. But yeah, he knows what's coming, and it's not good. And yeah, this is going to be and undoing here. An end. It's bringing an end to a cycle. So what do we got? Working on something, planning his next steps. Tired, weary, waiting for the next thing to come down the line. Should I negotiate and try and get the best deal I can? Because, I think right now his best deal and his probably next probable move is he might flip and provide state's evidence. This may not get him out of prison, but that leaked information may be enough to make him toxic. And now, here you go. Here's what's going to happen. Now that that's been released, those other state representatives and state senators, they're going to start talking to protect themselves because they're going to throw Perry under the bus. And he knows that that's probably what's going to happen next. You can't expect loyalty from them as these other people start offering testimony and things of value. And the more that flip on him, the more likely it is that he's not going to get a deal. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, don't commit the crime in the first place. That's what you do. But now that you've done that, all right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Anything else I want to throw on this one? I guess, well, will Scott Perry ultimately cut a deal with... Actually, what I want to ask is, will those state senators or state reps cut a deal? Will some of them cut a deal with the Department of Justice to save their own bacon? Some are going to do it. They're going to contact them because life's going to get a little turbulent for them on the short term, and they're going to try and distance themselves. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just try and distance themselves. And there's that Page of Wands card where they're leaving him. We got a victory, a cup 6, and there's that working again. Yeah. I think maybe up to 6 of those people, because we got 6 came up twice here. 6 of those people might leave and take a victory lap. In other words, they might go and say, you know what? We need to lawyer up and discuss things. They're going to distance themselves from Perry because they can blame Perry for this. It wasn't me. Perry was the one that was coming over here. This was his idea he was championing. I have nothing to do with it. And this to me is like, again, working with hammering out details with the DOJ. Some, might want to tell as little as possible, or they don't want to talk, or they haven't wanted to talk in the past. But now that they know their names are out there, or it's confirmed that their names are out there, now they have to do something about it. They're either going to ignore reporters, or they're going to talk with the Department of Justice. But all of them, I guarantee you, all of them are going to distance themselves from Scott Perry because it's the politically expedient thing to do. Well, Scott Perry flip. Will he, because of all this, will he turn state's evidence? We'll wrap it up on this one. Will Scott Perry turn state's evidence? Will he make a plea deal? Will he ask for some partial immunity? Is he going to work with the Department of Justice and try and minimize his prison sentence through cooperation? Have I asked the same question a bunch of different ways successfully for Carter? He's got to make a choice. This choice will not last forever. Act now. Operators are standing by. Yeah, he doesn't want to talk. He is holding that information close to his vest, just like those other folks were. But he's got a choice he has to make. He's got a real choice he has to make because things are pretty cut and dry now. He's not going to be able to muddy the waters. Folks have seen this. He's not going to be able to muddy the waters. And again, if folks leave, he's going to be the one holding the bag. We got the Hierophant. Oh, my. Trying to get away with the theft here. I'm not convinced he's going to. He needs to decide. He needs to decide because he is part of trying to steal the election. And he needs to be very intellectual about it because he's going to prison. I don't think the government's going to give him a break. And he's wondering, how much information can I give? What's the least amount of information I can give to get the best deal with the government? That's where he's kind of at right now. Because I think he's more culpable than those text messages even indicate. And he doesn't want to give up all the information, because if he gives up all that information, it's going to demonstrate how involved he was with this. It's kind of like he'll admit to some things, hoping that the DOJ doesn't know about the other things. It's kind of like that energy. Like he's trying to be sneaky and get away with it and say, oh yeah, okay, I did this and this and this, but it was this person who did that. And as they're corroborating his story, they find out, well, what about this thing over here that we've not talked about, but we've been investigating for 6 months, and we have all this information for you and connecting you to it. How come you didn't tell us about that? It's going to be like, and you get that icy adrenaline squirt going through your veins there as you suddenly get caught out in a lie, and there's felonies attached to it and years in prison. That kind of feeling. We've all had that, right? All of us have been arrested for felonies and coup attempts on the government and completely forgot about it. Yeah. All right. Well, Scott Perry, you're in trouble. Lawyer up. You already lawyered up. The next best thing is just to own your actions. Tell them everything you know, because, well, you're already going to be persona non grata, and now you're going to be basically isolated as people abandon you. You're going to find out what it's like to be abandoned. Why do they do this? Why? I don't know. They just do. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes and your shares and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video makes it out to new viewers. To those new viewers, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading enlightening, mildly humorous, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.